This person is a monster. It's a subhuman. This person doesn't think like you and I do. This person is not going to make sense.
Welcome to Jonbenét Ramsey Sketchy Details Part 12. If you have not watched 1 through 11, it's advised that you do because these are in chronological order. This video, along with every video in the Jonbenét Ramsey Sketchy Details series, are intended for educational purposes only. My videos are also not for children at all. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to this channel, as I am currently trying to grow this channel so that I can make better quality videos on this subject and topic. Number 67. So right after burying Jonbenét, the Ramseys went on vacation at Sea Island in Georgia. It's a privately owned, unincorporated island that's only around 5 miles long and a half a mile wide, with a 2010 population of only 298 people. It's part of the barrier islands of what is known as the Golden Isles of Georgia, and it sits between Little St. Simon Island and Jekyll Island. This privately owned island is super exclusive, mainly due to its very intimate size and its prices. They have a Sea Island market, which is open to the public Monday through Fridays from 8 to like 5 p.m. It's like a farmer's market. But aside from that, it's off limits to the public. In order to access the island, you need to be a member of the Sea Island Resort, and membership comes at a very hefty cost. To become a member, you must apply, meaning that they're going to check your application and see if you know anybody who's already on the island. So basically, you have to know somebody to get in on the island. Not only that, but you must make a non-refundable deposit of $150,000 with annual fees of up to $12,000. Average homes on the island are $5 million. It's known worldwide as the most exclusive and most expensive private island around right now. The cheapest hotel room on the island will cost you $998 per night. I bring this up for two reasons. The first one being islands, and especially private islands, seem to be a thing for these people in this industry. Secondly, they did this directly after burying Jonbenét. So the exact times that the detectives were wanting to question them, and at the same time that they were claiming that they were doing all they could to help find the killer. How the hell is going on vacation to a private island helping find the killer of your daughter? And how the hell is that mourning? People can claim all they want that people react differently to different stressing events, and that's very true. However, nothing about the Ramseys was normal. None of their behavior afterwards was anything like a grieving parent or a saddened parent wanting to get justice for their child. In fact, their behavior was more similar to someone who was trying to self-preserve. They were very self-preserving in their choice of actions, what they did afterwards and what they tried to do as well. Even their book Death of Innocence, they trick you with the title. The title makes you think of Jonbenét because she's the innocent one that died. But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about their innocence, their presumed innocence, being something that died because they are thought to be guilty. And that's just ridiculous. Wordplay is extremely huge as well in this industry. Since I'm talking about private islands, I figured this would be the perfect time to give you a quick update on Part 4's number 31, where I'm talking about how James Dudley, John's dad, was the head of Aeronautics Commission during the same years that Sheldon built his airstrip on North Fox Island. Well, part of James's duties as the head of Aeronautics Commission was to inspect and authorize the construction of new and planned airstrips. So, John's dad is who gave Sheldon permission to build that airstrip that was used to fly in the underprivileged boys. Whether or not James Dudley was aware of Sheldon's plans for that airstrip, I feel at this point the answer is irrelevant because the connections are already made, the associations are already made. But in part 4's number 31, I also bring up Tom Kobe, which leads me into the next number because the next number is also going to be about Tom Kobe. Number 68. So on August 25th, 1998, just 19 days after Jonbenét's 8th birthday, a Boulder newspaper called Propwash, published by Propwash Press, published an article on their front page titled Kobe, Hunter, Ramsey's named in child porn ring blackmail plot. This was the only newspaper to publish this story. Here's a screenshot of the actual newspaper, and it's an interesting article because it talks about how someone within the Ramsey's inner circle was going to be blackmailed, and that had something to do with what happened. And it also talks about how Hunter and Kobe were being corrupt and derailing the investigation. So it's very interesting, and I give you the screenshot so you can hopefully go find it yourself. During the first 2 weeks of the investigation, Boulder Police Station was being flooded with calls coming from all over the United States, with people claiming that they had seen lewd pictures of Jonbenét with adult males online, and some even said that they had seen them in print publishing, like press magazine things, like these dirty magazines, I guess. But they were saying that they were getting flooded with these calls. Now, at the exact same time that these calls were coming in, the Boulder Police Department were sent 2 individual anonymous poems, and the first poem was titled Manchurian Doll. The second poem originally came as untitled, but for some reason, Jameson, it's kind of a long story, we'll go into it, but Jameson got a hold of them, and she titled the second one, Zach the Great Pretender. So I don't like to call it that because it wasn't originally called that. The second poem I don't feel was written by someone in the inner circle, but the first poem, Manchurian Doll, I'm convinced was written by someone within the inner circle, or at least on the outskirts of the Ramsey's inner circle. And I have a strong inclination of who I really feel wrote the first poem. I think that Pam Griffin, the other pageant mother, the one who told the police about Randy Simmons, is who wrote this first poem. The poem shows clear signs of someone very well educated in literature. The poem also shows inner secrets, inner workings of the Ramsey's inner circle. So it shows familiarity, intimate familiarity with them, and it also names Fleet, McReynolds, Kobe, and Hunter. Actually, I don't think it mentions Kobe, but when I say mention, I'm not saying that it says Alex Hunter and Bill McReynolds. No, it makes these little small references, poetic references, to these people. And so it appears to be someone who knows something, but is too scared or too protective, self-preserving, to actually say it, so they're trying to say it within this poem. The entire next video is going to be dedicated to that poem and dissecting that poem. Those aren't the only reasons why I suspect that Pam Griffin wrote the poem. My personal opinion is that Pam Griffin did not partake in the child porn making, distribution, whatever, but I feel that she was aware of it because of Randy approaching her to photograph her daughter naked. And what did I say in the blackmail video? If you're silent about something, you're still complacent. So yes, kind of in a way, she was partaking because she was keeping silent. I think that Pam Griffin is also who introduced Patsy to Randy Simmons, and I think that Pam has some sort of guilt over that, and that's why she sent the poems. That's my personal opinion, but it feels right. At the same time that Pam said this about Randy asking her to photograph her daughter naked, she also said that she never allowed her daughter to be photographed by herself. She was always present during her daughter's photo shoots. So showing that she knew some shady shit could go down if she wasn't present to supervise it. Patsy, however, let Jonbenét be alone with Randy for 2 hours straight one time, during the time that he took all those beautiful pictures of her. Who knows what other pictures were out there? Who knows whether or not Patsy agreed to this? And even if she did, he could have worded it in such a way, wordplay, that it didn't click with her exactly what he was going to do. He could have said something like a little bit more risque or taboo pictures and left it at that. Who knows? But Randy, for sure, was the distributor, if not the creator, one of the creators of the child porn. So for number 69, I'm going to pose a few questions because I was overviewing my videos and it had me thinking. So 69 is going to be more of a proposition for you guys to contemplate things and really think about the answers to these questions. Now, if John, along with other men, were who were abusing Jonbenét, but Patsy is the one that ended her life, then who is the guilty party? And for that matter, what exactly is the crime that was committed against her? Was it the abuse or the murder? If we're trying to solve this crime with one perpetrator, with one crime, it's never going to happen. She was double wronged that night by 2 different parties. This is also part of what I believe, which I need to explain more to you guys because I realize I haven't been exactly clear on what I think took place on Christmas night, that night of 1996. And so we will never solve it if we're trying to pin one guilty party with one crime. 2 different crimes happened by 2 different parties that night. We need to realize this. A small piece of evidence to show that there were 2 different events that happened, 2 different wrongdoings perpetrated against Jonbenét. Look at the 2 different knots and the 2 different ropes. The rope around her neck and the rope around her wrist were not the same, and the knots were not the same. The knots around her neck were extremely sophisticated, and they were done by a male, John Andrew, whomever. The knot on the rope on her wrist was loose. It was the only loose rope or loose knot, and it wasn't sophisticated because Patsy did it, because that was part of Patsy's ritual. The whole right hand does valiantly. She wrapped her right hand. The knots were different because Patsy doesn't know how to do the knots sophisticated like that. The neck noose, we'll call it, because it's not a garrote. We'll go into that as well. That is not a garrote at all. That is an erotic asphyxiation device. Simple as that. That is not a garrote. That is for sexual gratification. Because of how deep the cover-up with the police and the diversion of the investigation ran and is still run, I believe that the initial event that took place was attended by a bunch of people, groups of men, which may have included Alex Hunter and stuff because he's huge in the cover-up and the misleading of the investigation. All of that makes me think that it wasn't just John or John Andrew. It was some group event, some videotaped group event. John Ramsey is very computer savvy, so there are rumors that John broadcast, live streamed. It would have been a delay, it wouldn't have been fast broadband like today, but that he broadcast what happened, what was happening to Jonbenét online. There's people that were not connected from other parts of the country that came forward and said intimate details of what happened to her, and they said that they saw them because they saw it online. I feel like John was almost a hacker. Like, he knew how to do really shady shit online. And unfortunately, with the development of the internet, we also opened a discreet hiding room for pedophiles. Pedophiles love the fucking internet because before that, it was hard for them to exchange these pictures and this media because of how illegal it is. And now, they're free to do so on the internet all day, every day. So the problem has gotten worse because of the internet. We need to stand as a people, as a group of people, against what's happening. Because the more people that get exposed to such imagery, the higher chance of them becoming a pedophile themselves, the higher risk of them being an offender. With more people that are accepting media and images like this, they're just going to try, and they already are, trying to normalize sex between children and adults. We cannot let this happen. That will be the ultimate downfall of our society worldwide. I know that a lot of different religions and a lot of different countries have different laws and outlooks on child sex with adults. Everyone can agree that it is not good for the child. It is damaging for the child. So I don't give a fuck what your religion says or what your belief says. This needs to stop, and it's a worldwide problem, and so it needs to be solved worldwide. I know that for many it's a very uncomfortable subject to talk about, to even hear about. Don't get me wrong, I hate when I say child porn and stuff in these videos. As you can tell, I kind of get lower with my voice, but it must be said, because the more people that are no longer in the dark about these activities, the better of a chance that we have to stop these activities. The more that people ostrich and put their head in the dirt, the more power that we're giving to these sick fucks to do this shit. And they're already super powerful and super organized, so they're almost untouchable, and they know this. That's why they just continue with no sort of shame. We don't need to give them any more power. They're already really powerful over us because we aren't united and organized, and they are extremely organized. Anyway, I think I'm going to keep this one short, so this is the end of part 12. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, as I said in the beginning of the video, as I am trying to grow this channel to make better quality videos, because people are accepting and receiving my thoughts a lot more than I thought they would, and so I feel that if we get more people talking and more people questioning stuff like this, maybe we can get somewhere in this world. So please subscribe and share, and as always, God bless. Evil on this scale is impossible to comprehend. To know who murdered Jonbenét Ramsey would be to know what world we live in, where we are.